I'm not perfect, believe that, but I showed I can lead that. I'm a world champion, baby, I bet I can breed that. Hey, I'm a world champion, baby.
Welcome to the I Dream of Speaking podcast. My name is Ramona J Smith. I am your host, the 2018 World Champion of Public Speaking, and I'm here to help you find your voice so that you can shine brighter, dream bigger, and speak louder. The I Dream of Speaking podcast is all about mastering the art of public speaking, sharing our dreams and aspirations as speakers, and living confidently so that we feel good both on and off the stage. On today's episode, I'll be discussing vocal variety. Today's episode is all about how to use your voice as an instrument, how to play with the different elements of your voice to keep your audience engaged. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. Also, give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment with your tips, suggestions, and love. I love the love, so please keep the love coming. Thank you to all the people who always leave loving and great comments that are uplifting and full of inspiration. Share this podcast. If you know someone in your circle who wants to be a better speaker, share this podcast with him or her. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Ramona J Smith 1. Follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn. Both are Ramona J Smith. And check out my website, ramonajsmith.com. You can also send me an email if you want to connect. The email is ispeak@ramonajsmith.com. Vocal variety. You can even hear when I say the words vocal variety, how it wasn't like vocal variety. It was like vocal variety. Vocal variety is so important in public speaking because it helps to engage and captivate the audience. By using different tones, pitches, and volumes, speakers can convey emotions, emphasize key points, and maintain the audience's interest. Vocal variety adds depth and expressiveness to the speech, making it more dynamic and memorable. It also helps to convey the speaker's confidence that we talked about the other week, confidence and credibility, as a monotonous voice can come across as dull or disinterested. Overall, vocal variety plays a crucial role in effective communication and connecting with the audience. If you have ever been to a Toastmasters meeting, or if you are familiar with the Toastmasters culture, you've been a member for a while, we talk about vocal variety often. In the Toastmasters culture, we often want to be entertained. Of course, we want to be informed and persuaded, but we like to be entertained. We like our attention to be kept. We want you to be fascinating and lively. That is where vocal variety comes in. I may be dating myself here, but that is okay. I am so comfortable with being a woman above the age of 21. But have you ever heard of the actor Ben Stein? Ben Stein's voice is the definition of monotonous. If you've ever seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, there's a scene where Ben Stein is playing a high school teacher. Very tough crowd, by the way. I taught high school. Very tough crowd. But he has this monotone voice, and he's taking attendance, and he's Bueller. And then he's teaching, and in the middle of his teaching, he's asking questions, but his tone is so monotonous. The kids are falling asleep, they're bored, and he's like, anyone? But nobody's paying attention because his voice is boring. No one wants to listen to a boring, monotonous speaker. Just being real, just being honest. If I'm paying my money to show up to this event, I want you to wow me. I don't want to be bored. I don't want to sit here and give you 45 minutes of my attention, and when I go home, I don't feel anything. I feel like it was a waste of time. Most audiences want to laugh, be entertained to some degree, and not be put to sleep by a stale, dreary, and dull voice. When my son Ryan was a little thing, he's 11 now, but when he was 1, 2, just a younger little toddler, I read to him often. And when I would read to him, I would be so animated. Clearly, as you guys can see in my 2018 World Championship speech, I've always been animated, especially when you are around little people, little kids. You want them to be entertained. You want to tire them out. You want to give them the energy so they can expel that energy. I would often read to him. And there's a video, hopefully I can link it up here, when I was reading to Ryan when he was very young. And we were reading a story called The Five Little Ducks. And if you are a parent or if you are a caregiver, or if you've ever read to a child, you know all about the story of the five little ducks. These five little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck said quack, 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 but only four little ducks came back. And that's how the story goes, down to 4, 3, 2, 1. When I would read this story to Ryan, I would do it in a sing-song rappy way. I would go, five little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck said, and I would let him do the quack, quack, quack. But only four little ducks came back. And I would just make it fun like that because my excitement is going to be his excitement. And to this day, he's excited about reading because of my vocal variety. When it comes to vocal variety, I want to share with you 3 areas of vocal variety: velocity, volume, and vitality. And then I'll talk a little bit about the 7 P's of public speaking. Let's start with velocity. In the context of public speaking, velocity refers to the speed or pace at which a speaker delivers their speech or presentation. I am a naturally fast-paced speaker. I speak very fast, especially in audiences that are native English speakers. The way I learned that I spoke fast was when I started to speak overseas to audiences that were not just bilingual, but multilingual. These people spoke 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different languages. And what I didn't realize as a person that speaks one language, hablo un poquito español. I don't speak a whole lot of Spanish. But as a person who primarily speaks English, I don't have to translate things in my mind. And my friends who speak 3, 4, 5 languages or more, sometimes they are translating in their heads the majority of the day. When they speak to their parents, is in one language or one dialect. When they speak to their community members or their colleagues or their coworkers, they're speaking in one language. When they speak to their clients, that may be in another language. My brain has never had to do that. So I was unaware that people sometimes need you to slow down just because I have all these languages and all these different words going on in my mind. And if you're speaking too fast, you're going to lose me. That's how I learned that I was a fast-paced speaker. Velocity involves the rate at which words are spoken and the overall tempo of delivery. Velocity can greatly impact the audience's understanding and engagement with the content. Speaking too quickly may make it difficult for listeners to follow along or absorb the information, while speaking too slowly can lead to boredom or disinterest. Finding the right balance of velocity is important to ensure clarity, maintain audience attention, and effectively convey the intended message. I learned that the average speaking rate for native English speakers is around 150 to 160 words per minute. I went to, I believe it's typingmaster.com or typingmastery.com, and they have what's called a speech test, and you can see how fast you're speaking. When I took that speech test, I speak 170 words per minute. I speak faster than the average native English speaker. I'm spitting out 10 to 20 more words per minute than the average person. When I speak to audiences who are multilingual, I need to slow my rate down to about 100 to 120 words per minute. For example, if I spoke yesterday, well, by the time you see this, it'll be a couple days ago, but I spoke the other day at ExxonMobil's celebration of Black excellence in the arts. Majority of the attendees there, they spoke English as a first language. I didn't really have to slow down much. For example, let me use this sentence. I'll say, I'll just introduce myself. If I'm introducing myself in front of a group of people who speak English, I can say it like this. Hi, I'm Ramona J Smith, 2018 World Champion of Public Speaking. I'm pretty sure for most of us, we understood what I just said. You can hear it clearly. You heard me say my name and my title. If I'm speaking for a multilingual audience, I will slow it down and say it something like this. Hi, I'm Ramona J Smith, 2018 World Champion of Public Speaking. When I slowed it down, it wasn't slowing it down so much that I'm offending these intelligent people who probably have multiple degrees, and you just have to have a certain level of intelligence to understand different languages. I'm not slowing it down to insult their intelligence. It wasn't like, hi, I am Ramona J Smith. I just paused a little bit. I articulated and enunciated a little bit more, and I separated my words so that it's not flowing all together. I'm Ramona J Smith, 2018 World Champion of Public Speaking. I'm Ramona J Smith, World Champion of Public Speaking. That is velocity. It is very important that you are aware of the speed of your words to be able to connect and engage with your specific audience. If you speak too fast, slow down. If you speak too slow, speed it up. If you have no idea of how to do that, I'm here for you. Let's work together. You know how to get in contact with me. I can help you work on your velocity as a speaker. Let's talk about vitality. Vitality is that energy, that animation in your voice. Vitality goes kind of hand in hand with being a vivacious speaker. A vivacious voice in public speaking refers to the power, energy, and exuberance of your voice. It involves the speaker's commitment to being vivacious and lively with her voice. Vitality is essential in building trust and credibility with the listeners. Public speakers should strive to ensure that their voices are clear, full of life, and enthusiastic. Maintaining vitality in public speaking helps to establish a strong rapport with the audience and enhances the speaker's reputation as a reliable source of information. Well, Ramona, what if my voice is just softer? What if I kind of have a voice like Michelet? If you don't know who Michelet is, Google her. She has this really soft voice. But the thing about Michelet is when you hear her talking voice versus her singing voice, she sounds like two completely different women. Why? Because she sings from her diaphragm. How do you add strength to your voice and give it a more powerful punch? You speak from your diaphragm. But most speakers and most people who use their voice every day to just have normal conversations, we speak from our throats, but that can strain your vocal cords. Singers especially learn how to speak from the diaphragm. If you've ever been to the military, especially basic training, and in my situation, I did basic training with the Air Force. We had what's called MTIs, military training instructors, and they would often tell me, because I was the dorm chief, so I would have to lead the flight. I would have to organize the flight and give orders to the flight in their absence. They would remind me to speak from my diaphragm so that I didn't end up losing or straining my voice. Let's talk a little bit about the diaphragm. The diaphragm voice is much stronger and much more impactful than the throat voice. What is the diaphragm and where is it? The diaphragm is a thin muscle that helps with breathing. It's shaped like a parachute with a dome top, and it's in the lower part of your rib cage. So when you inhale, when you breathe in, the diaphragm flattens and pushes downward. And when you breathe out, your diaphragm relaxes and comes back up. If you want to practice this, all you have to do is stand up straight. Good posture. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Stand up straight with your shoulders back, with your chin up, and with a soft gaze. Take your hand and put it a little bit above your belly button. Put both feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. And then take a deep breath in with your hand right above your belly button. Fill your stomach up with air. Breathing in through your nose. So breathe in through your nose. You should feel your stomach filling up with air. And then when you release it, you should feel your stomach kind of contracting. So when you breathe in, you should feel your stomach pushing out a little bit. And then when you breathe out, you should feel your stomach contracting. That is the diaphragm. That's how you push those words out, by using the diaphragm. If you didn't feel anything, if this is not working for you for some reason, all you have to do is laugh. It could be a fake laugh. It could be ha, ha, ha. But if you put your hand on your belly, ha, 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 you feel something moving. You feel something contracting there. That is your diaphragm. Your diaphragm also can help you increase your volume, the volume of your voice, how loud you're speaking or how soft you're speaking. So I encourage you to practice speaking from the diaphragm, from down below, from those belly breaths, breathing through your nose. If you notice, I breathe through my nose a lot, and then I release the words through my mouth and through my diaphragm. Let's talk a little bit about volume. Volume is important in public speaking because it helps to ensure that the speaker's voice is audible and reaches all members of the audience. By adjusting the volume appropriately, speakers can effectively convey their message to listeners. In various parts of the room or venue, your volume will be heard or will not be heard. It depends on how loud or how softly you speak. Speaking too softly may result in the audience struggling to hear and understand the content, leading to disengagement or frustration. Have you ever heard a speaker speaking and you said, "We can't hear you"? Some people are bold enough to do that. We can't hear you. Can you speak up? Or those speakers that, "I don't need the microphone. You can hear me." No, we can't. And you get frustrated because you can't hear the speaker. It could be frustrating. On the other hand, speaking too loudly can be overwhelming or distracting. So we all know those speakers who speak softly like this, and all you have to do is believe in your dreams. I dream of speaking, you dream of speaking, we dream of speaking. And then you have those speakers who are just too loud. We all dream of speaking. Speaking, oh yes, wonderful. Tony Robbins has a really loud voice like that. Eric Thomas has a really loud voice like that. For me, I don't like a super duper loud speaker. I feel like you're yelling at me. So you have to find the right volume that allows you to maintain the audience's attention, convey confidence, and create a comfortable listening experience. Additionally, volume can be used to strategically emphasize key points or create dramatic impact during a speech. Let's talk a little bit about the 7 P's of public speaking. The 7 P's of public speaking. They are pronunciation, pace, pause, punch, power, passion, and posture. That's a lot of p. Thank God for this great microphone. I hope the P's are coming through a little softer. Let's take a look at each one quickly. Pronunciation is articulation and sound, paying attention to the tongue, jaw, lips, and vocal folds. Did you know that slight and sometimes subtle changes in the position of these articulators produce different sounds? You have to learn how to play with your voice. What does it sound like if your lips are more close together? What does it sound like if your jaw is a little bit tighter? What does it sound like if you put a little more emphasis with the use of your tongue? Let's move over to pace. We talked about pace with velocity. How fast are you speaking, and what is your cadence? What is your cadence, your rhythm? Is it dun 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 dun? What is your cadence as a speaker? What is your speaking rate? I encourage you to go to, I believe it's typingmaster.com or typingmastery.com, and take the speech test to figure out what your speaking rate is. Next is pause. Toastmasters, if you are a member of the organization, we know how important the pause is. There is power in the pause. A pause is dividing the speech stream into chunks referred to as thought groups or tone units. This is key when asking a question or when incorporating humor in your speeches. Lack of pause adds to the listener's processing burden in various ways. The listener is forced to organize the incoming speech stream into thought groups without cues from the speaker. This self-organization could lead to misinterpretation. If you ask a question, you need to pause after you ask the question to let the audience have time to respond in their own minds. If I ask you the question, when was the last time you spoke and you felt passionately about it? I paused there. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about it. If I ask you a question, when was the last time you really spoke passionately? When was the last time you did this? And how did you feel? And I'm going all into these questions, or I'm moving on to the next subject. You was like, okay, well, you didn't give me time to think about it, but okay, whatever. You can lose the audience that way. Darren LaCroix and Mark Brown are two world champions as well. And when it comes to pausing and humor, they often talk about stepping on the laughs. And if you're a comedian, you know the importance of not stepping on the laughter. When you tell a joke and the audience is laughing, give them time to laugh. Pause. That's why it's so important to practice your speeches. That way, when the laughter comes and it may have taken a little bit longer or a little bit shorter than you anticipated, it's okay. You don't lose your place. You don't get fumbled. You can allow them to have that time and then carry on with the rest of your speech. If you tell a joke and the audience laughs, that is the audience letting you know we like you. That was funny. Good job. Give us more. We're here. We're right here with you. If you don't give them that room to laugh and you step on those laughs and you tell a joke, why did the chicken cross the road? Because, yep, that's why. And the chicken did this, and you don't give us time to laugh? That is rude. Let me help you. I'm laughing at your joke that you told. I'm trying to ease the tension and let you know it's okay. So pause after you ask a question. Pause after you give some humor and the audience is laughing. Don't step on the laughter. Let them have it. Next is punch and then power. We talked about that with vitality. Punch is stressing certain words and syllables. Taking a sentence and stressing certain words. We'll take the example of the sentence, the cat in the hat. If you stress every word differently, the person is going to perceive that statement differently. If I say the cat in the hat versus the cat in the hat versus the cat in the hat versus the cat in the hat, I'm punching and stressing certain words and certain syllables to give you some type of sneak peek or emphasis on what point I'm trying to bring home. So that is the punch, the stress on those words or the syllables. The power is the use of your voice using that diaphragm. And power also entails eye contact, gestures, and facial expressions. They all contribute to one's presence as a speaker and consequently one's effectiveness as a communicator. When it comes to eye contact and body language, I call it the BEG method, B-E-G, body language, eye contact, and gestures. Next, the next P is passion. This is the confidence, the self-esteem, the enthusiasm when you develop your speaking style and how you're developing it and how you show up on that stage and you talk about things that matter and you talk about things that are near and dear to your heart. That is that passion. And the final P is posture. When you are on that stage, how is your posture in your body? If you want to throw your voice or if you want to project your voice, use that diaphragm, but also stand up straight, face the audience. If your posture is bad and you're like this, your voice is going downward to the floor. It's not projecting outward to your audience. So be strong in your posture. Have charisma, be charismatic. We want to be strong, charismatic communicators. We want to stand comfortably erect with our shoulders back and our face up toward the listener. Those are the 7 P's of public speaking: pronunciation, pace, pause, punch, power, passion, and posture. When it comes to vocal variety, you want to be aware of your velocity, the speed, your vitality, the passion, the power, and your volume, how loud or how softly you are speaking. Vocal variety is extremely important as a speaker, and it separates a public speaker from a professional speaker. We do not want to be monotonous. We want to be lively, animated, and passionate when we speak. Always incorporate vocal variety in your speeches. Y'all know what time it is. What that mouth do? What that mouth do? What that mouth do? As speakers, our most important tool is our voice. It's your moneymaker. It's your everything. And sometimes we take it for granted. Since we aren't singers or voiceover artists, most speakers tend to neglect properly caring for the voice. Every week, we will discuss one new health tip to keep our mouth and voice healthy. What that mouth do? This week's WDMD tip dives deep in the throat. It is from Cinda with Cockeyed Optimist TV. She says that gargling is one of the most important things that speakers can do for their throat. She says that gargling with 1 teaspoon of salt and about a cup of hot but not boiling water helps soothe the throat. Whatever temperature you take your coffee or tea at, that's the temperature that your water should be when you gargle. If it's too hot, add some cold water. Gargle the entire mixture, but do not swallow the salt water because salt water is not meant to be consumed in large quantities. Gargling with salt water helps loosen the gunk that soothes your throat, and you can add some honey and some lemon to make it more palatable. What you put in it isn't so critical as just doing it in the first place. Somebody is like, how do you gargle? What does that even mean for my young people who are watching? I'll show you. So you take a little bit of water, you tilt your head back, and you force air through your throat, which causes a gargling effect. So it goes something like this. You take a little bit, not a whole bottle. You take a little sip, and then you push air through your throat like this. If it's salt water, do not drink it. This is not salt water, but that is how you gargle. It is important to gargle to help soothe your throat. And if your throat is feeling sore, it can help with a sore throat as well. That is our What That Mouth Do voice tip for the week. Thank you all so much for listening. I am so glad to be back with you for another week. Y'all know I had some issues with this camera, but we overcome obstacles. We are still standing. We push on. We push forward. We are warriors. We continue to make it happen. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. On next week's episode, we will learn ways to talk less and say more. I'll be sharing ways to speak with intention and improve word choice without adding more words. Make sure you meet me right here, same time next week. You do not want to miss it. Be sure to share this video, like, comment, subscribe, and also send me your What That Mouth Do tips for oral health and voice care. Once again, follow me on Instagram at Ramona J Smith 1. Visit my website, ramonajsmith.com to stay connected. Join our Speakers United group on Facebook and make sure you subscribe right now if you haven't already. We have an upcoming workshop called the Crafting Your Keynote Workshop that is going to be held on February 21st. Go to ramonajsmith.com to secure your registration now. I'll be teaching you how to craft your signature keynote speech. It is very difficult to pull your thoughts together and to create this organized words of inspiration and encouragement. That's very difficult to do. I'm going to show you how to do that in that crafting your keynote workshop on February 21st. Make sure you go to RamonaJSmith.com right now to register. I would love to come speak to your organizations, your clubs, your groups, your employees, and your team members. Email me. I speak at RamonaJSmith.com for booking information. It is not hard to find me right now. And I'm telling y'all, one day I'm going to have some gatekeepers. But right now, it's just me. If you want to get in contact with me, you can call me, you can text me, you can email me. All of my information is in the description down below. It's been my pleasure sharing this time with you. Thanks again for your support. I appreciate you all so much. And until next time, let me help you find your voice as we dream bigger, shine brighter, and speak louder. I'll see you next week right here on the I Dream of Speaking podcast.
I'm a world champion, baby. I bet I can